Absolutely. So today is July 29th. We're at the Bughouse Square, and we're talking about Chicago is not broke. And I'm Hilary Denk from the League of Women Voters of Illinois, and I wrote the essay about the progressive income tax. And that's something the League of Women Voters and many others in the state, many coalitions, have been working very hard to get the progressive income tax amendment on the ballot. And so this year, unfortunately, we didn't do it again, but we got really close because we actually had a fantastic rate bill that Lou Lang supported and sponsored that would have cut the taxes for 99% of the state income tax payers. And so we did have some great momentum, and the essay explains why a progressive income tax is good for Illinois. Right now we have a flat tax, so everybody pays the same rate. Corporate is one rate, and individual is another. However, when you look at our taxes in general, they're called regressive because people in the lower and middle incomes actually pay a lot more overall in taxes in Illinois. So by changing our rate structure, so those making more money pay a bit more in taxes, and those who make less money pay less in taxes, we're actually making our taxes fairer. And right now they're just unfair. Over 30 other states have this progressive income tax in their law, and unfortunately in Illinois, when we adopted our Constitution in 1970, we put it in our Constitution that we had to have a flat tax. So it takes away flexibility for our legislators. By getting a progressive tax, we have more flexibility, and we can actually bring in more revenue. And right now, as we all know, we've been living in a budget deficit in Illinois, and it's called the kind of deficit we have is structural, which basically means it doesn't matter how much we raise this flat tax, we're not going to have enough revenue to take care of all the things that the state takes care of, all the people that we have to take care of, all the programs that we have to take care of. And that's been going on for about 10 years. And that's one of the reasons our state is in such bad shape. So we really would love the progressive income tax to be a part of what Chicago does going forward to bring in more revenue. Now the book itself, Chicago is Not Broke, really covers a number of really interesting topics about where the money's been wasted, where the money's been stolen and hidden, but also where we can find more revenue for just the city of Chicago. And so those aspects of the book are really fascinating, and everybody should read it to learn more. And then educate their aldermen and educate their policymakers so that they know the people would like some of these things to happen, if not all of them, as soon as possible.
Well, as you said, the flat tax is written into the state constitution, and I'm old enough to remember the state constitution convention of 1970.
Right.
Could you just elaborate on how through the referendum system we can convene a state constitution convention?
Oh, well, frankly, I am not an expert on that topic. So that is something that the State League has looked at in the past. We were very involved with CONCON in 1970, and at that time a flat tax was thought to be the best way to tax. There were people who were against it at that time, but for some reason it ended up as language in the actual Constitution. And one of the ways to fix that is we can't do it by signature. It has to be done by the legislature. Because there's only a very specific type of constitutional amendments to get on the ballot by the citizens and signature. Most of them have to get on the ballot by a 2/3 vote of the legislature. And so, unfortunately, even with a majority in the Senate and the House of Democrats, we could not get it on the ballot this time around, and we couldn't last time in 2014, which is when I got most involved. So we could call another constitutional convention, but that would be very complex. And the risk of that is that the entire Constitution could be altered or changed. And we really don't want to do that. We just want to change this one section of the Constitution so it gives our legislators and our state more flexibility in bringing in revenue for our state.
Well, thank you so very much.
Yes.
That really did.